Hi, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Lead Your Way. Today, I have someone with me that is redefining B2B SaaS sales and how to succeed in it. She's 23 years old, and I'm just hearing about her everywhere right now. She has just been nominated Top Sales Dev Thought Leader, Suji Goetzke. How are you doing?
Hi, thank you for bringing me on. I'm so happy to be here. Yeah, I'm excited to be here and answer any questions that you have, and I guess share a little bit of my background and my story.
Yeah, so I started by you're 23 years old. I don't want to highlight this too much or make you uncomfortable or whatsoever about it, but it's crazy. Like I am now 32 and you're under the spotlight. Like everybody is speaking about you. I see your post and your followers are increasing. So first question I have for you is, how did that happen? How did you get into this social setting, I guess? Or,
Mhm.
actually mastering LinkedIn in a way.
That's a good question. I honestly don't even know. No, but I guess my friends from my hometown, you can ask any of them. I've always been the most extroverted person. Like, I will go up and talk to random people at the grocery store, which I think here in Europe, people aren't like that as much. So they think I'm a little crazy, which is fine. So I guess I do the same thing on LinkedIn too. It kind of started out back when I was running my own consultancy, GC Consulting. I decided to just start making some LinkedIn posts to try and get leads and get us more business. And I still remember my first post was just like a selfie with my headset and a cup of coffee, and it was just said coffee and cold calls. That was it. Like literally, that was the caption. And then I guess the rest is history from there.
Okay. So it started kind of around your entrepreneurship with GC Consulting, I guess. That's what motivated and that's what kicked off with the LinkedIn social selling aspect.
A little bit. And Sarah Oy, if you know who she is, like selling Sarah on LinkedIn.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. When I was in university, I had like followed her on TikTok. One of my friends, her name's Paige from my university, she had told me about her and she's like, how do you not follow her? She's like this huge sales guru on TikTok. Like, you would love her. And then I started following her on TikTok and I started following her on LinkedIn. And she was always I love her content.
Okay. So when we go on your LinkedIn,
Hmm.
your education, it's quite recent. Like I think you got your diploma a year or 2 years ago.
Last year, 2025, yeah.
Okay. And what was the diploma about?
I double majored in marketing and business management at University of Wisconsin-Madison.
Okay. So why sales and not marketing?
So, to be honest, like the only reason I did a marketing degree is because they didn't have a sales major at my university. Like, that's literally it. And while I was there, I pushed them to make one and I pushed them to make like a sales certificate, which I think they have now. So I guess it worked. But yeah, that's literally the only reason that I majored in that I majored in marketing. And I guess a big aspect of what I do around social selling at the end of the day actually is marketing. Now, did I really use my degree and like what I learned in classes? Maybe like two or three classes. The rest is just about like what I've found online and hearing from people and what I've seen actually work. The degree is more just to say that I did it, I guess.
Yeah,
But
got
let's
your
be
point.
real.
No, I mean, myself, I have degrees in engineering, so
Yeah.
completely different.
So you're actually smart.
No, I'm not smart. No. But like most of the people, it's like, I guess most of the people fell in sales like by accident, let's say.
Mhm.
Even though I always love to sell stuff and everything,
Mhm.
even as a kid. But, it's just society. Like in France, the track of to succeed was to make great school for engineering or uni and become a lawyer
Right.
or doctor or this kind of thing.
Mhm.
Even though I love to do sales, but that was what was, the path that we were selling to me.
Right,
They were selling
exactly.
to me.
It's the reality. It's the reality. Yeah.
Yeah. So you talk about your school is in Wisconsin. Right
Yes,
now,
yes,
you are in Athens. I am in
yes,
Athens. How
yes.
did you arrive in Athens?
Okay, this is a long story. So basically, I met my boyfriend when he was on exchange at University of Wisconsin-Madison, and he is from Denmark. And the following semester, I was going on exchange to Maastricht, Netherlands. And so we had like kind of started talking, I guess, when I was at UW-Madison. And when I was in the Netherlands, I would go and visit him a lot in Denmark. And then I did my following semester, I did an exchange in Denmark. And then we both needed a place to live that we could be in legally, and Greece ended up being that country because he could move through EU citizenship. And then I could move on a digital nomad permit. And we also just needed to escape the cold. I'm from Minnesota in the US and he's from Denmark, some of like the coldest places and like most terrible places to live in terms of like the weather. And I love the sun. Honestly, I love Greece. It is so unexpected. Like you can go surfing on the same weekend that you can go skiing. That it just blows my mind.
Yeah, and
So,
actually, you were saying something before that you are extrovert, and that talking to people at the grocery store is a bit weird and stuff
yeah.
like this. But actually, in Greece, this thing is happening all the time. Like in
Okay.
Greece,
I
everybody
love it.
is talking. I mean, yeah, definitely. It's not a long time you're here. It's 3 weeks.
No, I've been here since end of January, so like couple months. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I feel a lot more of this kind of community,
Yeah.
in Greece, and
I get
I know
that.
all my neighbors.
I
If I go to
love
the shop,
it.
they will chit chat with me. Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. Like there is I'm from Normandy, north of France. So
Yeah.
although, cold weather, rainy, a bit like
Right.
England. And I feel like people, because of the weather and the culture, of course, but
Yeah.
the weather is making us stay at home or in close
Mhm.
environment. Actually, you're meeting new people going out when there is sun, at the beach, at the
Mhm.
park. And yeah, I guess that's why there is just so much differences. But
Mhm.
I'm sure you will enjoy your time in Greece.
Yes, I love it. Yeah, I've noticed people here are also so open and friendly in comparison to Denmark and the Netherlands. Yeah, it's like you said, much more closed. The weather rubs off on people.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So actually, that's a question comes to my mind right now. You are a great cold caller, from what I understood. How do you feel about, calling someone in Denmark and calling someone in Spain? Would your approach be different?
Uh, any time that I cold call someone and they're like not from the US, I have a different opener. I say, what do I say? I say, I bet it's not too often you get an American cold calling you, but do you mind if I share why I called? And then it always just makes them laugh. Also, like, especially
Oh,
in like the Nordic countries where they're like much more closed, they're like, wait, what? That's kind of funny. Like, and then, yeah, they're okay with it. And I don't have a lot of experience calling into Spain, to be honest, but yeah, my Spanish isn't too good, so I'm not sure they would like it. No, but I think people, when you have like some sort of friendly opener that's like a little bit crazy and a little bit more out of the box, it makes them a little bit more intrigued and like, huh, that's a weird opener. What do you have to say? You know?
when did you start actually cold calling
Like ever?
ever?
Yeah, I started back when I was in high school, actually. This is where I started in sales too. I used to work at a gym. And I don't know if this is like necessarily this part, I don't know if it counts as cold calling, but the first like cold calling or just like calling people in general that I did was calling people from the gym who had memberships overdue and were in collections. And those people, like if you think regular cold calling is bad, try calling people where they owe you thousands of dollars and it's a gym membership and they've gone to collections. Those people are really bad. They are just swearing at you and they don't want to pay it and whatever. So that was like my first form of like calling. I wasn't selling anything to them. I was just trying to get them to pay up. And then from there, I also, that's where I started in sales and I would try and call people to get them to come into the gym and sign up for a membership, basically.
Okay. So this was kind of B2C. And when did you switch
Yep.
to B?
As soon as I got to university, I did some B2B internships and then, yeah, into the role that I have now too.
So now you are head of GTM for Trellus.
Yes.
How is
And
it
now
going?
I really like it. Now I sell a cold calling software. So if I couldn't do any more cold calling, I am now selling the software that allows people to cold call. So it's just been a part of my life, I guess, since I ever had a job. Now, before I was using a regular just office phone to make these calls, and now I'm selling the software that allows people to make these calls. So you'll never get cold calling out of me. Like, you'll never take that away from me, apparently.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So tell me more about cold calling. Right now, in your role, are you cold calling every day?
I try to as much as I can. I will say, like, the past couple of months, I haven't been able to as much as I would like to. The reason for that is I have just been, like, very busy and, like, in meetings back to back all day, like 16 meetings in a day. However, now we have just hired a account executive, and so he has taken a lot of those meetings, and it's like we're slowly ramping him up. It's only his second week right now, but we're slowly ramping him up. I'm getting him onto a lot of meetings. I threw him into meetings on like his second day. I had him start demoing. He's doing really good, so it's exciting. And now that I'm going to slowly start getting more time on my calendar, I'm going to start doing some cold calling again because it works. Like undoubtedly, it just works. No matter what, it works. No, I don't know what I don't care what people say. Like if they say that it doesn't work, it's because they're not making enough cold calls.
Yeah, maybe. Sometimes it's about the product as well. Sometimes it's about the person. Sometimes
Yeah.
there are a lot of factors, but I completely agree with you. If you have consistency, and it's what I've seen with my team, like
Yeah.
consistency, numbers, it's kind of a numbers game, but
Right.
you can have better number if you get better at what you are saying. So for
Yeah,
example,
exactly.
your hook of saying, you said something like, would you mind an American cold calling you or
Yeah.
something like this is fun because it's like it's not boring and you're making them happy and then they are curious. You're opening the curiosity.
Right.
So that's really cool. In my team, I had one woman that was an SDR.
Mhm.
Right now, I'm not sure. How do you feel about like the share of man and woman in the sales B2B sector? I
Mm,
feel like there are more and more women now.
yeah, I agree. I guess I'm trying to think of like what I've seen recently. I know in an internship that I had in the past, there were quite a few men who were BDRs. I think it depends on the industry. So in
No.
tech, of course, there are always going to be like those tech bros. But I think, yeah. And I mean, hey, you just got to get along with them, right? But no, I think it's increasing the amount of women who are going into the industry. For me personally, I don't mind being like, I think this is one of the industries where there are more women than in comparison to other industries, like engineering, for instance, right?
I
It's
was going
very
to
male.
say
Yeah,
engineering was terrible.
right. Very male dominated. Personally, I don't really care if an industry is male dominated because I'm like, I'm the woman. I'm going to rule all of them. I'll show them who's boss. I don't mind being the one who stands out because I like to use that to my advantage. Yeah. It's fun being different, you know? So for me, I haven't seen it as like a problem. I just shift the strategy, I guess, that I use.
Yeah, I mean, definitely you do. Yeah, you have something about your strategy that's working because, again, like you've been nominated top sales development thought leader last week or 2 weeks ago, I don't remember.
Mhm.
And you've seen there, I think the three other people. I mean, I know
Yeah,
David Wilkins, founder of SDR Leaders
mhm.
Global. No, I was going to say EMEA, but no,
Yeah,
it's global.
global.
And yeah, there were other two men as well that were nominated. Yeah, you were here, and yeah, you just had your diploma 2 years ago, and
Last year, yeah.
last year, and you're with these guys. So
Yeah.
what's next for you? How do you feel? So now you're head of GTM at Trellus.
Mhm.
Things are working, things are picking up on LinkedIn and probably other social media. I don't follow you somewhere else right now, but I can imagine that you might do some TikToks and stuff. I'm sure, no?
Yeah, I have, like, a personal TikTok, which is super inconsistent. It's kind of just, like, me posting traveling and everything, and it's more for, like, friends and family at home so they can, like, see my updates on what I'm doing in life. I will say I've posted some videos that have like for some reason gone viral on there. And it's just like videos of me talking and it's almost like a Snapchat that you would send to a friend. And that's the type of content a lot of the times that I post on TikTok on like my personal one. And then I actually just started a sales TikTok, mainly for the algorithm, because if you keep switching like your niche, then nothing is ever going to happen with your TikTok. And I also just wanted a place to be able to push out all of like more career oriented videos rather than like my personal fun side of me. I feel like it's good to keep them separate. Because my friends aren't going to care about what I'm doing in my career. Like they know me for being me rather than like my career side. So I like to keep it separate. And so, yeah, I just started it's called Suji Sells on TikTok.
Okay.
And yeah, I'm just posting like cold calling content and a lot of similar things to what I post on LinkedIn too, and more funny, relatable content too.
Okay. Because I've seen on LinkedIn one format that you're doing is Friday wins and failures.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So you've doing this for a long time now? Or?
Yeah, I've been doing it for a while now. I think maybe a few, I don't know, maybe like half a year at this point.
Okay. I mean, I know we are Thursday today, but what are the wins and failures so far?
Oh, okay. My win is for sure going to be coming onto this podcast. And
Thank you.
then for a failure, I feel like I haven't gotten as much done that I wanted to this week. So it's hard like working in another time zone because sometimes when you go to bed things are starting to happen, and so I need to be better at just like catching up on those things right away the next morning and then setting it aside and then going and doing some other things and then going back to work again. That's something that I need to work on.
Okay. That's actually something that we talked a bit already earlier about, but are you defining yourself as a nomad, digital nomad or not?
I mean, I'm getting a digital nomad residence permit, but
Hmm.
I guess I don't know what you mean by am I defining
What I
myself?
mean is you're in Athens.
Yeah.
What's next? You know, you're going to Spain for half a year after that. Is it a long-term plan to do this, or this is just a year of traveling?
So I have been living out of a suitcase for the past 2 years now. And that's just because my boyfriend is an EU citizen and I'm an American citizen. And so we can only be in one country at a time for so many days before we need to go to another country. And that's the reason I have been doing that. And I like it. I think it's been nice. But what people don't realize, people over glamorize it so much. When you are moving around this much, you're not going to ever have stable relationships or friendships because you make friends that you're friends with for maybe a few months and then you leave. And yeah, you can like always catch up with them, but it's hard. It's like to put it into perspective for people living in the US, it's like you have a friend in Florida, but you're living in Minnesota. Like you can see each other, but you can only see each other so many times unless you have a ton of money and can go and fly out every single weekend, right? So it's just like not realistic to have like deep connections and like friendships with people, and you're living out of Airbnbs basically, so everything is already set up for you, all the furniture is there, and it's never your own. And I have felt like after doing this for so long and constantly moving, I haven't had a stable home base where I can just be like, this is finally mine. I can finally just sit back and relax, like can finally make friends I'll be friends with for years and years and years. It's always just been, flowy friendships and everything, which it's fine. It's great to meet people from everywhere, and I still love doing that. But now that we're in Greece, I really just want to stay here for a while and settle down at least for a few years because I've just had too much of moving around. And yeah, it can just get depressing, like not having any like super close friends that you can just go to whenever, right? So yeah, I would like to stay here. I also like it here. Like there are mountains, there's the sea, there's good weather. But I personally like when I think about having to travel somewhere else, I'm like, oh, it kind of sucks. I already live in such a good country.
Yeah, right. I
So
feel the same way.
yeah,
There is everything here. And Greek
right.
people say that you don't have enough of one life to visit all Greece because there are so many islands as well.
Yeah.
So you just arrive in January, but you will see in the summer, like is going to the islands.
I'm
And
so excited.
it's, yeah, it's
Yeah.
beautiful waters, and just so many things to do already.
Right.
Okay, so actually, you might stay in Greece for a while. I didn't know that.
Yeah. I want
That's cool.
to. I like it a lot. And the people are amazing. Like, really my type of vibe.
Yeah, I can feel it. Because you're
Yeah.
someone that is outgoing, you're open mind. And I mean, of
Right.
course, it's like everywhere, there are people you would match with and people you start working with, but
Right.
they're just more outgoing. Yeah, I would say. And that actually, for me, it played a role because I shifted to sales because I stayed in Greece. There was
Mm-hmm.
no real career that I could do as an engineer here because there's not much industry.
Right.
And being surrounded by this culture, it also helped me, to be more, I wouldn't say extrovert, but
Mhm.
it's just easy to speak to someone I don't know,
Yeah.
which in Normandy, I didn't learn about that at all. I was I was not very social.
Yeah.
And now I love it. It's what I prefer actually in the job, or doing this
Mhm.
podcast or coaching
Right.
people, is because you're just learning about other people and having this conversation. It's what I believe it's really what humanity is about, like just to be together, to know each other, to understand different perspectives on life.
Right.
What is each one purpose is so different.
Right.
I went very deep now, but okay. All right. So you're not really a nomad. It's more like something that you guys are doing. You're young, and there's this thing of US and Denmark. Okay.
Right.
So you wanted to stop at some point.
Yes. Definitely.
Okay. And what about Trellus? What's the future there? What are the plans for the company?
I would like to stay here for a while. I think they like treat me too well for me to leave. They're really, really great, and I, I'm like I have a lot of freedom that I would not get if I were working in a corporate role or even at other startups where they're just owned by VCs and like, people telling them you need to do this a lot. There are a lot of startups that are just like very, very strict, right? And Trellis isn't like that. So I really like it here. I'm hoping to grow a big sales team and yeah, have like a really powerful sales team under me that I can train up, make them all really good, and make them a lot of money so they can also live a happy lifestyle, go out and travel and do what they want to do. Or maybe they also want to sit at home and have a really big TV. Whatever they want to spend their money on, they can. But yeah, I think sales is just like such a great industry and like so rewarding. And it's given me so many opportunities that I wouldn't have been able to have in a lot of other careers or roles. I'm very happy at Trellis and I want to stay here and help them grow.
Okay. So you spoke about the team that you want to grow, and now you're managing 180, you said. So
Yes.
how is that going? Because this is now a bit different, right? I feel that before you were an individual contributor, you were not managing someone so far.
No, right. Correct. Yeah, it's going well. He's doing a really amazing job. So this is his second week, actually. He started not this past Monday, the Monday before. And on the first day, first couple of days, I just had him on all of my meetings. At the end of his second day, I was like, all right, you're going to demo now. Because you can have someone where you train them for 3 weeks, 4 weeks, even like a full 2 weeks, and then you have them demo. They're going to run into the same problems and questions than the first time you threw them in if you did it on the second day. That's how I see it. And you don't really learn what you don't know until you actually go and give it a try. And this is something that I have noticed a lot of startups do is they throw people in a lot quicker that versus what corporate does where they just train you for weeks and weeks and weeks. You learn so much when you're just put into the situation and you have to do it yourself and you fail a bunch of times, which is a big part of like what I would like to implement into a team is just like failure and like fail forward. But you learn a ton when you mess up. So I was like, all right, second day, end of the day, you're taking demo. And he did great. He ended up closing the person. So it went
It's
well.
interesting because you have the same approach that I had when I started building my team. And
Mhm.
if I have one piece of advice to give, is don't try to create mini you. You know, like
Right.
people,
Yeah.
because for example, you just said, yeah, just go trial and error and all that. And
Mhm.
sometimes on some people, it's just not the way they work, and it's not
Right.
the way they can progress in the best way. I'm sure if it's
Mhm.
as it sounds, it's actually working super well, so that's amazing. But
Yeah.
just so you know, people have different way of learning, and there are
Mhm.
different approach. And I've seen it. I've done the mistake because I love this thing of just do it if it's
Mhm.
work, and then if you make an error, it's okay, it's fine. You don't have to be perfect.
Mhm.
That's a big barrier actually when people in your team, they have to call, they have to take meetings, and then they are not calling because they're afraid, or because they are making a ton of
Mhm.
research before dialing,
Right.
and at the end they are dialing, nobody's picking up, so they are sending an email that will go in the spam or whatsoever, and
Yeah.
everybody is losing time and energy. That's why I think cold calling is about a lot about this actually, because you just have to dial
J
until you go into conversations and then just go with the flow. There's a lot of about resilience, of course, but corporates, for example, that have weeks of trainings and everything,
Mhm.
is because as well there are organizations that are a lot more structured, and they are big,
Mhm.
there are
Exactly.
processes, it's huge machinery. When you are in
Right.
a company like Trellus, or where I was working at Pexapark, my previous company, it was a startup. We were scaling up. I was the founding SDR, so I was the only SDR. And then,
Mhm.
building my team as the company will grow, and that offers you a lot of flexibility.
Right.
So I remember, like, the two first SDRs, there was nothing. There was no
Yeah.
90-day plans or stuff like this.
No. Yeah.
But yeah, sometimes it can bring value, and
Mhm.
sometimes when you're managing or growing a team, just understand what are the underlying motivations
Mhm.
of your team members. Like,
Mhm.
for example, what is your goal? Because their goal is not, I mean, it is to reach quota, but they want to reach quota for a reason. And
Right.
it's great to dig more into that so that
Yeah.
you can manage and coach properly the
Yeah.
people for their development.
For sure. Yeah, it's so what I've noticed, it's so important to have that transparency with them upfront to make sure, uh, that you do things in a way that is going to be beneficial for them too, to be able to take in and retain the information and actually be able to move forward as well in a successful way.
Okay. So we talk about Friday wins and failure. We talk about
Yeah.
cold calling. You in Greece. I hate to do this, but we have to talk about AI. I think your company is about AI as well, or at least
Mhm.
it's in the name.
Yeah.
As well, your perspective is interesting because you're a lot younger. So
Mhm.
AI is just starting. It will go big and big and bigger. What's your view on AI?
I see it like growing up as someone who like grew up with technology being around all the time. It's not going away. It's going to be there just like when Google started out, people probably thought it was crazy. When Facebook started, people thought it was crazy. Everything new is always crazy for people, but it's not going away. And what you've noticed with technology is yes, it has replaced people's jobs, but it has also made people's jobs easier and opened new doors for more opportunities and more jobs. And I see that in AI as well. And it's important that when we are using AI to not use it as a replacement and use it as a crutch when something is already broken, but rather to use it more as a supplement. So if there's something where you are falling short, it can help you and supplement you in one area versus just like completely taking over and trying to fix something that's already broken. If it's already broken, it's already broken and AI isn't going to fix it. You need to use it to make what you're already doing better. That's how I see it.
Okay, what's your favorite thing that you are doing with AI these days?
To be totally honest, like in my day-to-day, like this is totally not business related, but in
That's
my
fine.
day-to-day, just using it for like translating labels.
The Greek
And like,
alphabet.
yes, exactly. And like explaining what things are. And then also, I have like the new iPhone, I don't know which one it is, but this little button on the side, I
Okay.
made it so you can click on it and then you take a photo of whatever is around you and you can ask a question. It's connected to ChatGPT and you can ask it a question and then it'll
Mm.
explain something to you, which I think is really useful when you're traveling. If you're like, let me just quick ask. And then I'm like, okay, explain the history of this, the Acropolis, for instance, right? I find that really useful. From a work standpoint, I find it really useful in my day to day when I have my note taker in my meetings and I'm trying to remember something specific. And in my note taker, there's like a little ask AI section. And I'm just like, was this brought up in the conversation? Or what did they say that their budget was in this conversation? I find that super useful. And it's such a small thing and nothing crazy whatsoever, but it's very useful.
Yeah.
So on a very low level.
Not that alone. I mean, the note taker in the meeting makes such a huge difference in
Yeah.
in, in sales. Personally, I've seen the disruption with emailing and messaging. Mass emailing and LinkedIn message now is complete different game than what it
Mhm.
was when I started in 2018. Because back then we would just do it manually. I would
Right.
message people all day long. Or now this is gone, and now you can just use it to enhance your writing
Mhm.
and to automate if you want. But or how do you say that? Semi-automate. Like
Mhm.
pops the email, it's already draft, and then you can
Mhm.
modify one or two things and send it. But ultimately, for me, the huge bonus of AI now is the note taker, and then you can use it to then do your follow-up email with
Mhm.
the prospect, and then you can feed in the information in the CRM.
Mm.
Back then, we would write all of this, so it's
Yeah.
so much time that you're winning.
Yeah.
And at the end
100%.
of the day, you keep the best, which is having these conversations,
Right.
working on your skills of finding out how you can actually help the prospect, the people you're talking with,
Exactly.
negotiating, closing deals, rather than spending time filling the CRM or
Exactly.
rereading the notes and everything. So for that, I love
Exactly.
AI,
I agree. Yeah. It makes those workflows so much easier.
definitely. Now, will it disrupt and there will be changing jobs? As you said, it will happen. There will be new jobs. There will be jobs that will not exist, but as any revolution for sure. Okay, I guess we are arriving at the end of this episode with you, Suji. Was such a pleasure.
Thank
And
you.
I'm sure we will meet again. I hope we can do maybe different content together, meeting in Athens.
Yes?
I know that you are going to a club in Glyfada where there is some tennis field and
Yes.
what is a game as well, like the American one for the
Pickleball.
old people.
For the old people, come on. Young
Well,
people play too.
I am a tennis player. So for me, people that are playing pickup, but you know what? If you're playing that, okay, I'm done for it. We can
Okay.
meet and I will try.
You know, every tennis player who ends up playing pickleball loves it. And do you want to know why? It's so easy where if you have a tennis background, you pick up on it so quick and you're like automatically the best player on the court.
And you don't have to sweat anymore because
Yeah.
it's so small.
Yeah. It's so easy. Except this summer where it's really hot here
Oh
in
my God,
Athens.
yeah. Actually, that's a good point. When it will be 40 degrees out there, might be better to do pickleball.
Yes. Yeah, you don't want to be at tennis where you're running around too much and paddle where you're in a box.
Oh no, paddle must be awful in summer. Yeah.
Can't imagine.
Okay, so until next time then.
Yes.
Thank you for joining the podcast today, Suji.
Yes. And thank you for having me on too. It's been a pleasure.